Yeah, I think that's working on Facebook. And hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to Off the Cuff Paranormal. Forgive me if my head slightly disappears because I'm trying to set my phone up so people can actually see me. Otherwise, I'm like this. I'm like, ah.
I could do that too, and then we could just both be like that.
Yeah. Well, it's hi, everybody. Wait. It's just gonna be mouths.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh my God. All right. So, welcome aboard. Now, I'm hoping this is running fine on Facebook. I don't know if you have Facebook open, Mike, but I'm hoping
I
it
do
runs.
not.
I'm hoping it's running fine on Facebook. So, if you guys are watching us via Facebook and you leave a comment, please put your name in with the comment because we do not see who's making the comments on Facebook when they do. Okay. So, guys, I'm hoping this working. Hello, Kay. Welcome aboard. So, Mike, it's a pleasure having you back. We missed you 2 weeks ago.
I know it's been a month.
It
It's been a whole month. I don't know what I've
has
done with
been a
my.
whole month.
Oh,
Sure.
it was so weird watching last week's episode after the fact with not me, but it was Kay. I'm like, it's Kay. It's better than me.
Well, it was a lot of fun having Kay last time. I mean, we had a lot of interesting conversation pieces going back and forth. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of giggles, a lot of laughs, and but we missed you. So good to have you back.
I
And
feel so wanted.
hey, can't continue to do this without you, Mike.
Yeah. I guess
Oh.
we kind of did start this. We better, see it through.
True. Kay goes, who you calling weird?
Weird? Okay, you're not weird. You're not weird.
And hello, Amy. Welcome aboard. And for everybody else watching, welcome aboard. Like I said, if you're going to make a comment from Facebook, and you can see us on Facebook, leave your name because we can't see who's making the comment if you're doing it through the Facebook video. All right. So tonight, we were going to do some other stuff and show some things, but because I'm really just inundated with stuff because I'm selling my place and I'm buying a new one, and anybody who moves know what it's like. So we decided to talk about something a little different. Conduits.
There's no show and tell for tonight. So
No, no, that's true. There's no show and tell. Hello from Facebook. Don't know who's saying that again. If you're making a comment through Facebook, please leave your name with it so we know who you are. But yeah, conduits. So
yeah,
what exactly do we mean by conduits, Mike?
Well, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, it's things that I'm thinking it's like things that kind of help spirits to manifest themselves. Is that what is that the along the lines you were thinking there?
Well, sort of. Not just that. Excuse the thumb for just a second. I have a really weird thing on my screen. Yeah, I know. It's like, anybody see my print? Oh, it's Holly and Ken. We'll just put HK, Holly, Ken. We know it's you guys then. No, conduits. Part of what I was thinking, Mike, was, and this kind of blends to a whole realm of different things, and that is energies of spirits. Like, okay, we know, at least I do from experience, that things have followed me home from different investigations. People have stuff happen in one home, they move, 1,000 miles away or 10,000 miles away, cross the ocean, and they have the same thing happen, right? Because it's stuck with them.
Yeah.
So one of the theories that I've been told is that conduits exist so spirits are able to travel along them. Okay, and the energy within those conduits help them maintain that. I guess maybe I don't know. I don't know. I'm just hypothetically putting it out there. Help them maintain their cohesiveness, I guess, and make it from one point to another. Okay, so it's an energy flow, I guess, because we really don't know how they travel, do we?
No, we don't. No.
Right. And that being said, I guess, okay, so before what we see out there now, because we have a whole, updated realm of stuff in the world today, energies, all that kind of stuff. But years ago, and I do believe they were called ley lines.
Yes.
And I'm not sure. Do you know much about the ley lines? What's this? Basically, we invest your place before you move, and then invest a new place. See who moves with you. From Ken. Well, I don't think I have anything here at the time. Right now, Ken, but I hope not to pull anybody along. Now I lost my track. Where was I? Oh, ley lines.
Ley lines, yes.
Ley lines. Now, I don't know a lot about ley lines. Do you know a lot about ley lines?
Well, I know that because just from watching the TV shows and stuff, and it does come up from time to time, especially like on, I can't remember the name of the show now. It's there, but it's not there. It's basically like almost like geographical points where they kind of, intersect each other, and they seem to make really bizarre sense somehow, where points between two different destinations, and when it comes to a point together, then that point can possibly have some kind of strange occurrences going on, whether it be paranormal or something other that they can't explain why it keeps happening, and they kind of piece it all together. It could be just all random spots across the globe. Actually, it isn't just like in small areas.
But they connect, and like you said, at those points,
yeah, where they connect,
they're major intersections, so to speak.
Basically, yeah. So wherever they connect seems to have a higher probability of strange occurrences.
Now, isn't it true? Now, maybe I'm mistaken on this, and I don't know. I don't know if you have your laptop there that you can actually look. But isn't it true that you just got really black there, Mike?
I'm dark. No, I'm actually
dark.
just going on Google. Hang on a second.
He has switched to the dark side.
I'm on the dark side.
Isn't it true that I think it's the pyramids is on a ley line? What Kay just said, the Okanagan is meant to be on a major ley line. Well, maybe that's to do with the Okanagan or the no, is it the Okopogo?
Yeah, I mean, it is a sort of strange occurrence, if you want to call it that, but
I think the pyramids are on a ley line. I think some of the pyramids in South America, as far as the sorry about that, guys. What am I looking for? The name of the indigenous down in South America. They were around for hundreds of years. The
Oh,
Mayans and stuff.
yeah, like the Mayans
Yeah,
and all
the
that. Yeah,
Mayans, the Incas, and stuff like that. When
yeah.
they made their pyramids, I also think they actually built them so they were facing a particular way, and I think some of them, or most of them, were in a ley line to things, and it makes you wonder how they managed to figure that out if they even knew they existed. It was really kind of cool. And I think the ley lines, being energy conduits, I guess to a point, could, I guess my thought is, did spirits use those to to traverse the world, right? Um, Kay just wrote, right through the lake, meant to branch out through BC, one of the major ones in North America, Okanagan Lake. Well, there you go, folks. Something we didn't know. So if you ever want to disappear, just go up the Okanagan. All right, Kay, I'll find you.
I apologize for keep going dark. I'm trying to do a little bit of research here about your. I want to find some examples of very famous ley lines. Funny enough, it's like they're not coming up.
Really?
Maybe my house is on a ley line.
If you look, if you actually look up, if you actually look up ley line hotspots, I think you might find some. Right. I'm just not on my computer, guys, because I was like literally I just got back from doing some closing stuff and some stuff on my new home. So, which is really awesome, by the way. Yeah. Really excited about that.
I have brought up a picture on my computer here of ley lines throughout the United States, and it is a big mess of spaghetti.
Oh, shall we see?
Sure.
Well, that is a big mess of spaghetti, isn't it?
It really is.
I didn't know there was that many.
Yeah, this is quite. It seems like, looking on here, you got the Bermuda Triangle, which seems to be a hot spot where it's got. That's kind of like a hub, if you will.
Yeah.
Another one appears to be. I don't want to say it's kind of looks like Tijuana. I know it's not Tijuana, but although some people might say there's strange things going on there too, but
that's true.
Maybe they're not quite paranormal.
Hang tight, Mike. Somebody just sent me a message, but I can't see it. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. I know Mike's going to go, where are you disappearing to?
Daryl's disappearing. He must be on a ley line as well.
I am on a ley line right now.
Along ley lines, you'll find the Great Pyramids of Giza, Chichen Itza, and Stonehenge, to name a few. I know you've been to. Was it where you went to somewhere down in Mexico?
I went down to the Mayan Riviera.
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually part of the ley line grid, but it could be. I know me personally, I've not been to the pyramids or Chichen Itza, but I was at Stonehenge.
And Stonehenge is a central point, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Yeah, it's a central point. Yeah. So it's really interesting that these ley lines existed. I mean, I don't know. I mean, my concept of what I understand of them, and I don't understand a lot of folks about them. I really don't. I haven't had the time, and I really wasn't really going to bring these up tonight, so I haven't had the time to really look at them. But I know that they're almost naturally caused, right? They were naturally there when the Earth was formed. So, or apparently, so if they were natural, it would make sense for a natural progression for something to travel those ley lines and energy, I would assume. Actually, Helene Ken just said in China, known as dragon lines.
Yeah, another term for them I'm just seeing right here is Mother Earth's veins.
Mother Earth veins?
Yeah.
As long as they're not varicose.
What happens if you cut one of them? Ooh.
Well, you know what? In theory, that would be a really weird question because it would make you wonder if, Well, now that brings up another point, though, Mike. That you just entered another rabbit hole, dude. You know that,
We
okay?
tend to do that, don't we?
Well, okay. So let's assume, okay? And we're saying assume because we really don't know how spirits travel, okay? So let's assume that spirits, whatever, can use these ley lines to move from point A to point B, from Venezuela to Timbuktu. I mean, just as an example, okay? Now, that was created naturally in Mother Earth for whatever reason, okay? Which is kind of cool. But now, what have we got in the world, Mike?
What are we? Sorry.
Well, what have we got in the world between then and now? What have we got?
I don't know. Where are you going with this?
Okay, technology.
Okay.
We have technology. Technology, with the invent of technology, came, as Kay said, railway lines. We have railway lines, we have hydro lines, we have cell phone, we have all these different beams and forms of
Everything is a
energy.
line. Everything is a line. Yes.
Everything's a line now,
Yeah.
right? Everything. And my thought is this: if spirits can use the ley lines to travel, do you think they can use the same or use the other stuff that we have now in the same way?
Yeah, until you just mentioned it, I hadn't even thought about it that way. Like,
That's why I got that wow.
yeah, I mean, in theory, yeah, it sounds very, very possible. Like,
it, it,
it kind of reminds me. I was doing an investigation a number of years ago, and I laugh about it because when I go back and listen to it, and I go, "Why did you ask such a silly question?" But one of the questions I asked on an EVP session was, "Did you travel a long ways to get here?"
yeah.
And it was, and from my perspective, I was thinking because I was not close to home. I was about 2.5, 3 hour drive away.
Yeah.
So for me, I was going along the lines of I had to travel to get to this location. Did you have to travel a long ways too? I actually got a response saying yes,
Oh, wow.
right? Which is very cool. So now putting it all together, thinking along these lines, no pun intended, um, maybe they did have to travel these for lack of a better term, like a paranormal superhighway.
Conduits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I got a response saying yes, I mean, I didn't know I got a response at the time because, you go back and you listen, you hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had known that I got a response saying yes, I should have followed up with like, how far, how long, where did you come from? Right. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It's interesting, especially when you get something like that. You have to wonder. And now I'm going to bring up something else in a few minutes because I think this is just going to dig the rabbit hole and just go with this. Okay. But if things can travel using the energies we have today, although they're not a natural energy like what you have in the ley lines, it's man-made, right? Okay.
yeah.
So if you have them, do you think that these things allow for easier travel for said spirits, or do you think that it can actually be confusing because they drawn to the strongest source? You know what I mean? Now, Kay said, when you think that an electric current follows a conduit, train tracks are a continuous steel conduit. Yeah, you're right, Kay. They are. Rivers and waterways are natural conduits. Yeah, absolutely correct. But do you think that the technology nowadays has um, prompted the flow of energies that spirits supposedly use in a new direction? Like,
I mean,
I don't.
if we go upon the assumption that electricity, energy, whatever have you, is what is required to you know manifest yourself or whatever in that respect, in that realm, knowing that there's power lines everywhere and all this going around everywhere, it does sound plausible. It does. It kind of makes sense in your head. Um, a funny way of looking at it is maybe that's why there's no dinosaur ghosts, because there was no power lines and stuff like that when there's dinosaurs.
Those dinosaur ghosts keep popping up, don't they? Yeah.
Because that's just the way the show goes. But
Hang on, isn't it like this? And he goes, boom,
yes,
vibrates the glass. I mean, it. I don't know. It's one of those things that you have to wonder whether these things affect the spirits in a positive way or in a negative way.
yeah,
It makes us wonder because we use technology when we do investigations, right? We use
mhm,
stuff that's battery powered, sometimes things that are plugged in and whatnot, and we know we've experienced it. We've experienced battery drain, right?
yep,
So if something is draining our batteries, then to me it would make sense that these entities or spirits or whatever's out there will draw off of higher energy sources if they have the capability of doing so. Because I mean, have you ever been? I mean, so you've been in investigations and they have really high EMF fields,
yep,
right, and really low ones that have zero EMF fields.
yep.
Have you ever noticed a difference in activity?
No,
Really? Okay,
no.
that's all right. Neither have I. But I mean,
I'm trying to replace so many investigations. No, no. I mean, it. You could go to the same place twice, and one time it's really active, and another time it's not.
true. That is
And
very true.
there's no difference in the power, the energy, whatever you want to call it. There's no difference in that, right?
But do you think their ability to actually produce something tangible for us, whether it be EVP, physical, or otherwise, is more a plausibility if you have that energy present?
It's a good theory. That's one reason why, like, I know Amy loves to do it, is use the plasma ball to try to charge the air, right?
Yeah.
And I can't say definitively that it's increased EVPs and activity when we use it, but I don't. I mean, going by that theory that it actually does something. It's a good tool to use.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, maybe. I know this is like really hard hitting information, but maybe.
Okay, so let's just take it down a little bit more of a rabbit hole, shall we? Just a minute, I gotta go grab my shovel. That's about it. You better get the woodchuck to follow along. I gotta clear some roots out of the way. What's this one? I love using the plasma ball. I've got some interesting EVPs after it. It's a fun theory. I am going to keep playing with it. I'm
Mhm.
assuming that was Amy.
It's got to be Amy, because Amy loves her plasma ball. She had multiple plasma balls at one time. I don't think she's just got one now. And even a recent investigation that we did, Amy was using it and it died. I don't know if you remember that or not. It was just a battery operated one, but it died like really fast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I don't remember that one, but I do. I have one myself. So there you
Yeah.
go. I'm a plasma ball person. I've adopted it. Okay, so here's where I was going to go. I know we've talked about psychics, mediums, clairvoyance, all the rest of that stuff before. I know
Yeah.
that. Do you think that these energy lines that are out there and what we've just discussed, do you think that leads to sensitives being able to pick up more or less than, let's say, somebody from 200 years ago?
Well,
Gotta love the theories.
Yeah, I mean, you if you're going to go along the assumption that spirits can do it, and there's so little known about all of that kind of stuff, like, my take on it all. I mean, you're kind of convincing me the other way, but um, it's
You got to
possible
have
as
a
well.
conversation with Kay.
You've said things that have made me go, how the so
Bleep, bleep, bleep,
yeah. This is a family show. No. Um,
bleep.
little kids are going, what are they talking about, mommy? um,
Conduits.
Conduits, go to bed, kids. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. That's all I can say. I mean, if you have to go along the same lines of thinking, then yeah.
Well, here.
All right, let me read this here. Okay, so something has happened this week, and I don't want to go into it deep. Okay. But Daryl asked me to place 3 coins, not telling him where. Daryl, what happened?
All right. So I asked her because of some other events, and we won't get into it because there's some personal stuff. But I asked her to place 3 coins around her house, and I said, I don't care what the coins are. Don't tell me where you're placing them. Just place them. I'm going to ask whatever's there to see if I can figure out where they are. So she placed them and left. All right. So I said, okay, if you're there, let me know. So later on, I come back. Right off the bat, I got TV. Don't know why. Just got TV. I also got a shelf in a nook, and another one was on like a counter type thing. Now, when she came back, I said TV, nook, and some type of shelf, counter, cabinet, something like that. The cabinet I was only running about 50-50 on. It wasn't accurate. The other 2, one was on a shelf in a nook, and the other one was on the floor by some crystals at the base of the TV. Now, if something was there, how do they get the information from one thing to another? Which, like, how did I get it? Like, I'm not saying I don't read minds. I'm not a mind reader. I'm not capable of that. Nobody is. But how did the information get from Kelowna down here to the Lower Mainland?
Well, I mean, Kay has made that point that the Okanagan is on a ley line.
Well, and she said, did we create a conduit?
So your conversation to her, I'm assuming, was through some sort of chat, probably, which would have,
Texting.
yeah,
Texting and phone call.
So that's going to go through cyberspace, right? So
And Kay also did this after she left the coins.
Yeah, I also said as I left, tell my friend in Vancouver. Exactly. I mean, from the way you guys communicate, obviously there's a technological way of doing it, right? You guys were communicating through technology.
Yeah.
It was not. I mean, I have an other example where someone asked for something to touch me, and it was not like over the cell phone or text or anything like that. They were doing an EVP session. I was doing an EVP session. They said, touch Mike on his back. I got touched on my back at the exact moment where that was suggested to be done. Well, maybe not exactly, like within minutes. So how, like in your case, it's possible to use technology to be transmitted somehow as a conduit, but when there's no way where my situation happened, no technological device is used to have that conduit opened.
If we go with the fact that the only conduits that can be created is technology wise.
Right.
Now, if there's a connection between 2 people,
pardon me.
If there's a connection between 2 people, then you've got like that.
When there's a connection between 2 people, even though I didn't know that this person was going to ask that to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's almost like you open a connection with an unseen person.
And that, now, are you saying that person is is just throwing their thoughts, or are they actually traversing that connection back and forth so fast that we'd never even really know?
Yeah. Right. Because we don't, I mean, we've touched on it on our show before. We don't have any concept of what time is like after we pass either. Is time slowed down, or is it sped up, or what is it? Right.
Well, Kay's got a point.
We didn't use technology apart from the initial text to place the coin. Well, maybe that's all that's needed, though.
That is a good thought. Maybe that initial connection or personal connection was all that was needed.
Yeah.
So different type of energies, I guess, can do different things, but we're only assuming that. Okay, so here's another one. We're only assuming that spirits traverse these lines, or do they just send messages through these lines? Like, one thing I've always wondered. Okay, so we when we do investigations, we're doing EVP sessions. Everybody knows what an EVP session is, and those that don't, electronic voice phenomena, recording.
Is that what it's called? Really?
Hang on, I'm gonna poke him.
I thought it was extra value people.
Alrighty then. Okay, so we're doing. Damn it! I forgot. Okay, so we're doing EVP sessions. All right. Flippers. I forgot what the hell I was going to say. Thanks, Mike.
Sorry.
No, but you're doing an EVP session, and it makes me wonder that if what we're capturing, because we always capture. Sometimes we capture really, really direct answers, and sometimes we catch fleeting things that, although it's an EVP, it's not relevant. Okay?
Right.
That being said, are we just at the right place, the right time to capture? You're all black again.
I'm here. Honestly,
a transmission from one entity to another entity, and we just happen to tap in at the right time to capture that, or a section or a part of that conversation back and forth, and we're just lucky enough to get it. Like, where some things are directed right at us, where other things are only kind of like, here it is, and got it, right? But we only got a snippet of it, so we're like, okay, well, we were asking what color of hair do you have, and we got black boot. I mean, it means nothing, but I mean, it's like, why did we get it, right? Or we got, Ralph or whatever. It's like, I mean, it makes you wonder exactly to what degree and what point we're actually connecting with these things to get these things. We're only assuming that we're directing our questions out there to the nether.
Yeah.
But what are we hitting on to get a response?
It also makes me wonder, like, when you go along that theory, stick with me here. What, say there's 5 of us in the room and we're all doing our EVP session, right? You're the one that's asking the questions. There's 4 other people in the room. Their mind is not always focused on what you're asking, right? It's not possible. Our minds, all other 4 minds, are going to be thinking about God knows what, right? Like, oh, did I lock the car before we came in here? Or did I leave a device over in the other room we were in? Or I think I gotta go to the bathroom.
Did I lock the car? Get it! Start the car!
The point I'm trying to make here is, are our thoughts, while we're sitting there watching you do your questions, are our thoughts being picked up on? Right? So you're asking a question about what color is your hair, and you hear black boot. Well, maybe Ken's over in the corner and he's thinking, these are some really nice black boots I got. Like, we don't know, right?
Kay goes, or crap, I was going to say that.
Yeah, right? Crap, I was going to say that, yeah. Like
So well, yeah. You mean we're actually picking up on our own thoughts
it could be, right? Like
or other people's?
however many millions of thoughts are going through your head at any given moment. There's a lot going on. Like I'm sure like you can't. I mean, we try to be completely focused on. Pardon me, my throat's getting dry. We're trying to be completely focused on the investigation at hand, right? Like we. In my case, I try to think of questions that I haven't asked yet, and maybe those questions I'm thinking of are going to get answered all of a sudden on the voice recorder, and it makes
Yeah,
absolutely zero sense to what you're talking about. But it's something I was thinking about asking.
that's true. Hmm. It's a very bizarre realm, isn't it? Like to
Yeah.
step in there, because I guess if you go with that, you can consider that we do whenever we do a thought, when somebody does a thought or whatever, you're actually putting energy out there, as Kay said, telepathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is telepathy? I don't know. Telepathy's yeah, well, maybe Kay, maybe.
I think it's a
Uh,
form of telepathy, if you will. It's almost like para telepathy.
well, then again, how many times have you gotten the word telepathy on the
Oh
ovulator?
God! Like okay, on the ovulator,
The
yeah.
ovulator, the
I get telepathy a
obelisk.
lot on that device. As, although you know what, I get it probably the most at Camp Alex.
Really?
That's just something stands out for that reason. That there's one word I get there quite often. I think Amy can back that up. She's been there more than probably anyone I know. But every time we use the ovulator,
Sorry, Patrick.
sorry, Patrick. Yeah, it seems to come up quite often there. It's come up in other places, but that one seems to stand out for some reason. Now, why that is, I don't know. Maybe the spirits there like to use telepathy. Maybe that's their preferred method of communication. Maybe that's
It could
maybe
be,
that's their maybe that's their conduit.
but that means okay. So hold on. If they're using telepathy and that's their means of conduit, like you just said, we shouldn't, in all rights, get an EVP, should we?
Well, yeah, maybe we should. Maybe
Well,
that's why we don't sometimes, though. Because how can you manipulate a well? I don't know, but an EVP is basically imprinting your voice onto the digital voice recorder. We can agree
yes,
on that.
yes.
It's not manipulating the device in any way. It's just imprinting their voice that we did not hear. Sometimes we do. Um, maybe they're just like on this wavelength, if you will, where communicating through telepathy is their preferred method of communication. So you're sitting there doing an EVP session, you're asking questions, and we got Amy and me and whoever else in the back corner, and all of a sudden we're like getting weird thoughts in our heads. It's almost like answers to your questions.
Okay, so I'm going to put up what Kate just made a note on. Have a read of it, and you tell me if that kind of goes along with what you're saying.
Going back to the coins, yeah, okay, going back to Kelowna. Since then, Daryl has picked up on stuff that has happened over here in scary detail. We spent 2 days going, what the hell? It's like, if you want to, the way I'm kind of picturing it in my head, it's almost like a Ouija board. You've opened a door, but it didn't get closed.
Mhm.
But do you know how to close the door?
I can get up and close it. Oh, wait a minute, it's closed already. I'd have to open it first. I don't, well, okay, now here's a scary thought because I don't think I've ever known any, well, okay, just a little bit off the track, folks. I mean, I don't think you can actually close the door. I think you can ignore it. I think um, you can deny it. you can just say, hey, I don't believe in it, and it doesn't affect you. I don't think the door is ever closed. It's like you once said before, Mike. Are they around us all the time? We just don't necessarily contact them or touch base with them, right? And
Given the amount of people that have died since man became man on the earth,
well,
you would
yeah,
think we're going to be surrounded by people.
you would think so. You would think so, and maybe we are, maybe we're not. I don't know. So I have to wonder when people say, "Well, I can shut it out." Well, yeah, I can understand shutting it out. I can understand people not wanting to hear a spirit, not wanting to listen to it. I understand that, but do they actually stop? I don't know. I don't think so. Right. And that's just my thought. I mean, I mean, okay, from a sensitive standpoint, and again, I will say I'm not one thing or another. I'm just a sensitive. Okay. From a sensitive standpoint, I don't think it's like having a phone constantly on in your pocket. Sometimes things are there, sometimes they're not. Sometimes you just go, and you go on about your day. Other times you go, you're like, what? you know, and you have to kind of look, right? So I don't think it ever really shuts off. It just depends on who the person is and how they connect with it, I think. And that I think that makes a big difference on whether a person gets stuff, whether they don't get stuff. But why that doesn't translate back to solid EVP sometimes, I don't understand. So if a spirit is using these conduits and these lines to move around and give information and get information and all that kind of stuff, if a sensitive can pick it up accurately sometimes, and I do say sometimes because a lot of times I'm about as accurate as a friggin' ball bouncing down a road. But that being said, if sometimes you can get accurate, sometimes you can't. Like, it makes you, yeah, I don't know. I'm lost on this because if I can get the information sitting in a room where you have a recorder going, why aren't you getting the same EVP?
That I can't explain.
Right. And that's what I always wonder. I mean, I've actually tried sitting in places and saying, okay, I know what I think I'm getting, whether it's accurate or not, I don't know. But sometimes I'll sit in my head going, okay, if you're doing this, you're giving me the information, then do it on an EVP.
Yeah.
You listen for 60 minutes afterward, and you're like, and you're sound asleep because there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's like replaying an entire EVP session and nothing happened. You're kind of like, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it makes me wonder why it all happens the way it does. And I guess that's why we keep doing what we're doing, because
well, yeah, it's like the old saying is like, what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
I'm looking for a book. Hang on, I got to bang my head against the book, okay? But no, but how true. I mean, we do always expect different results, and sometimes we get them, or inklings of them. Sometimes we don't. But again, we've kind of traversed all over the place here and gone down a couple of different rabbit holes. But it all comes back to, again, the conduits, the whole traversing of whether spirits can go when you say, hey, because, okay, so an example, folks, and I don't know whether it was my mind or not, okay, but an example, when my father passed away, you know how people they have like a contact shortly after they passed, say, hey, I'm okay, type of thing. And when my old man passed, I'm lying in bed. I pretty sure I was awake or mostly awake. And, I look up out of my bed, and at the end of the bed, there's no room for this to actually happen. Okay. But it did in my eyes, right? Casket comes in through my bedroom door, foot of the bed, right? Fit perfectly. Go figure. I can't even reach that far between my bed and the freaking closet. But anyway, shows up, Casket pops open. Old man pops out, says, "I'm good. I'm going on vacation." Gone. What? You're going on vacation? That's what you told me you're going on vacation.
Wow, that's quite the vacation.
But, like the thing is, did he actually go on vacation?
Well, maybe his. I don't want to say his mind because his mind is no longer a thing, but
Is it?
well,
The human mind isn't, but.
okay. The because yeah, I get what you're trying to say. Like the human is like it's not just skin and bones and organs. It's more to it than that. It's our soul, right? As a lot of people say, we're just meat bags. But maybe his soul. That was weird. Something just fell on my foot.
That was your meat bag.
my meat bag. No, it was actually my son's charger. It just fell all of a sudden out of nowhere. It was a conduit.
There you go.
What the hell? Maybe his soul was going on vacation, right? Like that's it could be how it was perceived to your old man, which I think is a great way to go out. If you think you're going on vacation, you're going to sit on a sunny beach for eternity. Okay.
Why not? I mean, my interpretation was like, okay, he's going to go over to France and Belgium and Switzerland, and but can you? Like, that's the thing. I mean, when you're done, what's stopping you? Especially if you can traverse these ley lines at who knows what speed? Because like, look this way. How many times have we seen a shadow, and it's like,
oh God, yeah, it's like that. It is that fast.
It's instant, and they're gone.
Yeah.
Is it because they're gone, or they just move so damn fast that it's like it's no longer where you saw it?
That's how I perceive it. Like,
right.
And again, we've touched on it before. We have no concept of what time is after we pass on. Like, there's
That's
none.
Right.
We have none. Some people say that they feel like, when they have near-death experiences, much like you had, they feel like they were gone for months when they were literally gone for a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Makes you wonder. And I mean, if that's the case, and time nor speed nor any of that have any bearing, at least on them, maybe that's why we only catch snippets of EVP sometimes, because they're not directed at us, and we're only breaking in on that snippet every once in a while.
It's almost like if you picture it as a highway, it's almost like you're trying to listen to a conversation in a car going past you at 60 kilometers an hour.
That's true. That's true.
You're only going to hear, if anything, you're going to hear maybe one or two words, and that's it, because the car's gone, right? That's almost what it's like.
But sometimes you get the odd car that comes by. Boom, boom,
yeah. You got the ones that want to show off the car, and they're going low rider.
That's right.
And they got a whole story to tell you.
But then again, if it's like that, like you said, sometimes Kay said poking a hole through a wormhole. Poking a hole through a wormhole?
I mean, if you look at a wormhole as a ley line or as a supernatural superhighway, if you will, and all of a sudden there's a hole that kind of gets poked, and that's done by us because that's what we do. We cause a little bit of a rift, and all of a sudden the spirit kind of goes, "Urch!" and pops in and goes, "Wait, this isn't where I wanted to go. I was going to Hawaii. Why am I here?"
So you mean we're just it's like kind of sticking a net in a stream.
Kinda, yeah.
You catch the odd fish you don't.
Yeah.
Oh, now there's a weird concept.
Yeah, we're just fishermen. We really are. We're just fishing to get something.
But no.
And sometimes it's a big whale, and sometimes it's a minnow.
But here's the thing. If we're doing that in theory or something, vaguely similar to that, and something is like we're in an area where that entity is known to hang out, Is that because they're still there and they haven't entered that stream, or they're just there at this point in time because they haven't decided to go anywhere else?
It's possible.
So they're kind of like sitting like in a little house here, and they open the door and
Yeah.
gone,
Yeah,
right?
kind of like Beetlejuice. He opens the door and all of a sudden he's in the realm of sandworms. Don't open the door. Some people, I would think, if a spirit is comfortable where they are, why leave, right?
Well, that's true, I guess. That's true, and we
Like
really
why
don't.
why why jump in the car and go on the highway when you're perfectly fine staying where you are? And every once in a while, these people show up and start asking you questions, and you kind of go, should I answer them today or no?
And maybe they just shut off the radio and go, you know what? No, we're just not. We're not
Yeah,
interested today.
yeah, yeah. We're like telemarketers. We just show up and they go, oh God, not again.
It's like open the door. Hi there. We're here to discuss. Bang. Oh, okay.
As soon as we open the door, they go, oh, not them again. Like, come on. They were just here.
Right.
I already told them to F off.
Hey, we got to watch our language here.
What? What? F could mean a lot of things.
But yeah, no, you're absolutely 100% correct. I mean, it's wondering because I mean, to them, I mean, we haven't gone. We go out. We don't go back to a place for half a year. To them, it's like, weren't they just here 2 minutes ago?
Right?
You know,
Exactly.
that's yeah. It's a pretty good. Yeah, I mean, there's so many thoughts, and I mean, I think it's an interesting. Um, I think it's an interesting concept to think about the fact that spirits can travel, and it might explain why they can follow you home, right? It's not that they attach themselves necessarily to you, but you have an energy that allows them to say, hey, I can follow this person because
Yeah.
it's there. I can draw off of it.
Mhm.
So maybe it's not even the fact that they want to attach themselves. It's just the energy is an interest. It's like a draw. It's like looking, how you go to some people and it's like, I really just don't want anything to do with that person. You go to
Yeah.
another people and it's like, hi, come on over here, give me a hug, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And Kay said, and we asked, do you remember me? Well, that's right, we have. I don't know if I've ever gotten a yes or no that way.
I've never gotten a response to that
Really? Hmm.
because I ask that all the time too. Like, do you remember me being here? And I even give like specific dates if I remember it correctly.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, I was here last fall. Do you remember me? What did I say to you then? Like things like that.
Yeah.
No, I never get any response to that kind of stuff.
Hmm. Be interesting because that means just maybe the same person's not there and somebody just has gone in that flow when they're not there at that point in time.
Especially if you're going to a place that, like a public place, where it's been lots of people that have gone there over the years.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible, more possible to, when you think about that way, because there could be someone different there every time you go.
Well, that's true. But Kay said I had a response and it said yes.
Okay.
So I guess it could happen. But then again, is it the exact same person? We don't know. I mean, I think I have to agree with you. Sometimes things just like, I mean, if they like the place, they're going to stay where they're staying. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a given. But I think that the ley lines, and I think that the fact that we have so many other options for them to travel energy wise nowadays, whether it's microwave or radio or electrical or phone or whatever the case may be, TV, cable, you name it. Um, I think that, there's so many ways for them to travel nowadays. I think that it leaves the whole world open to wherever they want to be, whenever they want to be there. That's just my thought in regard to that.
I apologize. I'm dark again.
Yeah, he's switching back and forth, folks, between the dark side and the light side.
Hang on. Hang on.
But anyway, folks,
Oh, wow. Oh, hang on. Where'd it go? Okay.
Are you losing things, Mike?
Well, I don't know what I've done. I brought up something really cool, and all of a sudden some weird messages started popping up. So it's my son's computer. I better not muck around with it too much. It was actually a map of Canada and all the ley lines across Canada. For what I saw briefly there before, all of a sudden the pop-ups started coming up. It was very, very cool. I was
I'll
like,
have
wow.
I'll have to look those up one day and when I get a chance and have a bit of a closer look at them because I think that they're really quite interesting. But I almost wonder whether those lines are still as relevant as they used to be and as accurate as they used to be, given the kind of energies and the magnetic poles that we do on the Earth and everything else. And I wonder if they actually change. Makes you wonder.
It does make you wonder, but also like because the way that the ley lines are uh, d- displayed on like a map or whatever, they appear very thin, but who's to say however wide they are, right? The world is not little lines going this way and this way and this way. It's they could be any width apart, right? Like I don't know. It just
Ooh,
yeah.
excuse me.
I
I,
I, I don't
I
know.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I think it's more the points of like in the world and what they intersect and that kind of stuff. I think that's more relevant, and that could be playing a part in all these things, like why we sometimes see spirits and don't see spirits. It could be part of it all too. I don't know, but your coin thing with Kay, I can't explain it. I have no idea why that could happen, except that there was a mental bond or connection somehow. That's all I can think of.
Maybe one day we'll be able to tell you the whole story, and you'll be going, "Huh?"
A
But
lot of times when I have stories from you, I'm going, huh?
it's it's my favorite thing to make people go, "Huh?" Say what?
Oh man. Like if anyone knew, like the thing, I mean, I know that you haven't really looked too much into me per se. You asked me questions, maybe two years ago,
Yeah. Oh,
and even then, I mean, there was some things that was kind of like, I was like, what is he talking about? But there was other things you were pretty bang on about, which was
yeah.
really, really strange to me because from my perspective, I'm a very, very much a skeptic when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to believe someone that is in the paranormal is such a skeptic when in that part of things, but you're definitely, like I said, you're convincing me the other way. So
It's not me, it's whoever's talking to me.
yeah.
I hear voices. No, I don't. I don't hear voices. Don't get me wrong, I don't. But folks, guess what time it is?
It's that same bat time where you go batshit crazy.
It is just about that time. Give that man a gummy bear. Um,
No comment.
folks, well, listen, 8:58. You know what? We've had some interesting conversations, and in 2 weeks from now, we'll have another very interesting conversation with maybe a little bit more stuff to show you. Again, sorry about the ill-prepared one on this one. I was running last minute. So many things to do with moving and selling and buying a house, and it's just like, blah. My mind
No,
is just a
no
mess.
explanation needed. You're a
Yeah.
busy man.
It's very busy recently, and work is just like ah. But aren't we all? On that note, folks, thank you all again for joining myself and
This guy over here, me,
that
Mike.
guy over there on Off the Cuff Paranormal. Join us in 2 weeks for another episode of who knows what rabbit hole we're going down. Anyway, folks, from myself, Daryl,
Mike.
we want to wish you all a great night. Have an awesome night and a great weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.